A very good morning to all the students of class 11th political science, and students, welcome back to the online classes here. As you know very well, we were into the fifth chapter of our book, that is Indian Constitution at Work, and we were doing the chapter 5th, that is legislature. In the first part of this particular chapter, we had discussed about parliament or the meaning of legislature. I give you few basic definitions of legislature. Then we discussed why do we need a parliament and what is the importance of parliament, and also we discussed why do we need two houses of parliament. So generally we were talking about the parliament, what is the importance of two houses in the parliament, that is Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, in which I explained you the meaning of unicameral and bicameral legislature. Like in India we are following a bicameral legislature. Bicameral means two, having two houses. Okay, so today we are going to discuss it in detail, the two houses of the parliament, and this is the part second of the chapter legislature, and we are discussing two houses of the parliament, that is Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. In the previous video we just saw the importance, why do we need two type of houses in a parliament, and especially in a country like India, why we require a two houses, that is bicameral form of legislature. And in that we also discussed regarding the states. In some states there are unicameral legislature, in some there are bicameral. Only 7 states are there in India which are having bicameral legislature, which are called state legislative councils, and the states which are having single house, they are called state assemblies, state legislative assemblies. So that was clear to you. Now today moving forward to the two houses. As you very well know, if we are talking about the union or the parliament or the central government, there are two houses in the parliament, Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Rajya Sabha is also called Council of States because it consists of the members of states which are elected by the MLAs, member of legislative assemblies, who are there in the state. And Lok Sabha is the house of the people. That's why in Hindi also it's called Logo Ki Sabha. So one by one we shall take the details of these two, starting with the Rajya Sabha now. I shall be showing you the compositions and functions and importance of both the houses. Basically you have read about these two houses from the very junior classes as well, but it will be a revision, as well as you will also get to learn something new about it. So this is an important topic when you are reading about the three important organs of the government, and especially when we are reading about the legislature. Okay. So Rajya Sabha. Rajya Sabha represents the states of India. Rajya, in Hindi you can understand, Rajya means state. In Hindi we call Rajya to point out states. That's why it's called Rajya Sabha. Sabha of Rajya, of states. So Rajya Sabha represents the states of India. It is an indirectly elected body. Why they are pointing out here indirectly elected body? As elected members of legislative assembly elect members of Rajya Sabha. So what do we do? Before coming to the central government, when we are talking about a particular state, suppose I am talking about Uttarakhand. This is Uttarakhand. Here there is a election is held, and we give votes to our representative, and members of legislative assembly are elected. Okay, from different constituencies. This is Uttarakhand. Here the members have been elected in the election. Now out of it's the responsibility of these members of the legislative. These are called member of legislative assembly. This includes state. When we are talking about a state, when elections are held and the representatives are elected with the result of the election, they are called MLAs, member of legislative assemblies. Now these MLAs will elect the members for the Rajya Sabha. So among them, from Uttarakhand, they will send few members to Rajya Sabha. So we are not going to elect the members of Rajya Sabha. Who will elect them? MLAs. So it is the responsibilities of MLAs. And who are electing MLAs? People. We elect MLAs in our state, and these MLAs elect the members of Rajya Sabha. Okay, so that's why they are elected indirectly. We are not electing them directly. We are not voting or giving vote for the members to be elected for Rajya Sabha, but we are giving vote to elect our representatives, and they are called MLAs, member of legislative assembly in a state. And these MLAs on behalf of us they elect the members which will be representing our state like Uttarakhand in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, so that's why it's written Rajya Sabha. Rajya, I told you about the state, represents the states of India. It is an indirectly elected body. Why it's such indirectly? Because we are not directly voting for them, but we have voted for the MLAs, and those MLAs on behalf of us, they are electing our members for Rajya Sabha. As elected members, these are the elected members whom we have elected now. As elected member of state legislative assembly, elect the members of Rajya Sabha. So on behalf of us, they are working here. Now the next important point for this house, this upper house, this is also called upper house. If we talk about Rajya Sabha, it is called upper house, and when we are talking about Lok Sabha, that is called the lower house. So the upper house of the parliament is called the Rajya Sabha. So now coming to the composition, now it is a total, there are 250 members in Rajya Sabha. When we are talking about parliament, a house of council of states, there are 250 members, and these 50 members are included from all the states. And what is the criteria to elect the members in the Lok Sabha and how to give the representation to each state, we will be studying further in this topic. But for the timing, you need to remember there are total 250 members in the Lok Sabha, that is one upper house. Out of which, out of 250, 238 are elected by state legislative assemblies. I told you, state legislative assemblies means all the elected MLAs of all the states in India. They will elect the members of their state and they will send them and to represent them in the Rajya Sabha. That is 238 from all the states. Okay. But out of 250, 238 have been elected by the MLAs of the state legislative assemblies, and 12 members are nominated by the president. So it is a responsibility and also the power of the president to nominate 12 members in the Rajya Sabha. And who are these 12 members? These 12 members or the nominated members are those persons who have made their work mark in the field of literature, who have achieved heights, who have been doing very good in a particular fields, like in the field of literature, science, art can be done in terms of music also, dance, art and social service. These are some of the areas or the fields from which different personalities who have achieved glories and have achieved heights in their work. Through their work, they have done so much for the country. They are being nominated through the president as a member of Rajya Sabha. So there are total 12 nominated members whom which are nominated by the president. So they are some very important personalities, or we could say yes, very famous personalities in the fields of literature, science, art and social services. Now this is important for you to understand. After telling you the meaning of Rajya Sabha, how the members of Rajya Sabha are elected, how many are members are elected by the state legislative assemblies, and 12 members are nominated by the president. And who are those 12 members which have done shown their mark in the field of literature, science, art and social services, as I told you. So now two principles of representation in Rajya Sabha. How there are two principles, 1 and 2, through which representation is given in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, this is a complex situation which you have to understand properly. And the first principle is give equal representation to part of country irrespective of size and population. We have to give representation to each and every place or the state irrespective of their size and population. We don't have to look at their size or population, or they are of which caste or which religion, which language they are speaking, how many people are living there. We don't have to look at that. There cannot be any discrimination on the basis of size or the population. In fact, we have to give representation to each and every part of our country in the Rajya Sabha. So a member which has been elected as a member of Rajya Sabha can talk and speak of its area. For the development of his or her area, it is important to give representation to each and every part of our country irrespective of their size or population. So this is the first principle. This is the second principle and the important one. Second is give representation according to the population. As I in the first principle I told you, it is very important to give representation to each and every part of our country, irrespective of their size and population. So every part of our country which includes in within the territory of India, they should be given representation in the Rajya Sabha. Okay, but what will be the criteria for giving the representation in the Rajya Sabha will be according to the population and size, we can say. Like for example, UP is a very big state, okay, Sikkim is a very small state. So is it possible that we elect 10 members from UP and same 10 members from Sikkim? This is UP and this is Sikkim. There is a very low population in Sikkim and there is a huge population living in UP. So is it it will be okay or equal for giving 10 members or electing 10 members from UP also and 10 members from Sikkim also to be the member in the Rajya Sabha? It will not be equal. So what we have done, we will give 30 members here and we will give only one person here. So it will be directly proportional to the population living in Uttar Pradesh and the population living in Sikkim. So that is why we have written give representation according to the population. According to the population or the size of the state, the representation or the membership is given in the Rajya Sabha. If there is a big state, they will get the more number of members will be the member of Rajya Sabha. If there is a small state, they will get the less member, because this one member can easily represent the population of Sikkim. But if in the same way, if I only give 10 members to Uttar Pradesh, it will not be able to give proper representation to Uttar Pradesh or the people of Uttar Pradesh. So their representation is around 30 members, which represent the state of Uttar Pradesh in the upper house, that is Rajya Sabha. So I hope you have understood the two principles of the representation in Rajya Sabha. One is, it is very important. It does not mean that if this is a small state, we will not give representation to Sikkim at all. I told you in the first principle, it is very important to give representation to each and every state and place in the country if it is within the territory of India. So it is important. But according to the population of Sikkim, they will be given representation through only one member as the member of Rajya Sabha. But whereas from UP there will be around 30 members from UP as the member of Rajya Sabha. So these are the two principles of representation. But this is the case in India, that according to the size of the state or the size of the population, we are giving the representation to the particular state. But in USA, every state has equal representation in Senate. Thus, small states would have the equal representation in the large state. It means in USA, small state will have the equal representation as the large state. If large state is having 30 members representation in Rajya Sabha, suppose, it means a small state will also be sending its 30 members in the Lok Sabha or the parliament. But this is not the case with India. As we know, India has so much of diversity. So here the things and the conditions are a bit different as compared to USA. So here we follow the principles which I have discussed, that we have to give representation to each and every part of our country. But along with it, we have to keep in mind that we have to give representation according to the population living in that particular area. So number of members to be elected from each state. So how many members are to be elected from each state? As in how many members from Uttarakhand will go to Rajya Sabha, how many from Punjab, how many from Haryana, how many from Uttar Pradesh, how many from Andhra Pradesh. This all has been mentioned in the Schedule 4 of our constitution. This has been mentioned clearly, that from which state according to the population, how many members will be the showing the representation in the Rajya Sabha. This all has been written in the Schedule 4th of our constitution. So the next point, important point is here. Members of Rajya Sabha are elected for the 6 years. If we talk about the members and their term and tenure, it is for 6-year terms and can be, and after completing their term for 6 years, they can be re-elected. As in the Lok Sabha, it is the Lok Sabha, the members are elected for 5 years. But when we talk about Rajya Sabha, the members are elected for 6 years, and again after 6 years, they can be re-elected. Okay. and re-elected, and we know the function and the method of their how they are elected. They are elected by the members of the legislative assemblies, MLAs of a particular state. All members of Rajya Sabha do not complete their term at the same time. This is one of the most important composition, I would say, of Rajya Sabha. Here you need to understand why we called Rajya Sabha as a permanent house. It does not dissolve at any period of time in the year. As we know, in the Lok Sabha, if I talk about Lok Sabha, after 5 years the government or the Lok Sabha dissolves and there is an election for the fresh new government. But in terms of Rajya Sabha, there is no I would say fresh elections, as there is elects for 6 years. So we were all members of the Rajya Sabha do not complete their terms at the same time. It means every member of the Rajya Sabha will not complete its term of 6 years at the same time. Every 2 years, 1/3 of the Rajya Sabha member completes their term. I told you there are 250 members. So out of these 250 members, every 2 years, in every 2 years, 1/3 of the members will complete their term, and there will be elections for only 1/3 members of the Rajya Sabha. It means there will not be an election for complete 250 seats. The elections or the members elected by the state legislative assemblies, they will only elect the members for only 1/3. Hence complete the term. Hence it is a permanent house of parliament. Suppose currently there were 250 members. Now after 2 years 50 will complete their term of 6 years. They will return. So the election or the elected members will be elected for only 50 seats. Rest 200 will be a member of Rajya Sabha. It means it will never dissolve. It's a permanent house. Okay, it will go on. Talking of the Lok Sabha, it is also called the House of the People. And the first point is lower house of the parliament. It is called the lower house of the parliament. It's called a Lok Sabha, which consists of 245 members. So it is important to remember the membership. In Lok Sabha there are 245 members, of which out of these 245, 2 Anglo-Indians are nominated by the president. 2 Anglo-Indians are nominated by the president. In that, the president elected 12 members, but in this he is electing only 2 members. Rest 543 are the members to be elected in the Lok Sabha in the different constituencies. It means there are 543 constituencies in Lok Sabha, and from each constituency 1 member is elected to be the member of Lok Sabha, and the member elected in the Lok Sabha is called a member of parliament. Okay, and we have also studied about all this in previous chapters, especially when we were reading about the election system in India, and also when we were reading about executive and reading about president and functions and powers of president. Lok Sabha has a speaker who presides over the session. So all the sessions of the Lok Sabha are presided and taken over by the speaker. Okay, here the members are directly elected. Okay, when there is an election, general election in the country, after every 5 years, we the people, we vote. Okay, with the help of universal adult suffrage, that is every adult above the age of 18 year or above the 18 year has the right to vote, and using his vote he elects his own representative. That is why we call it directly elected members. One representative is elected from each constituency through universal adult suffrage for term of 5 years. This all we have already discussed in the previous chapters also. You know it very well. So this is the information about the 2 houses of the parliament. I hope you must have understood, and in the next video we shall be taking on with the further topics. Till then, thank you.